Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I got a freaking interview today. I'm so pumped up to give to you, man. I've had this guy on my show 2 times. This will be the 3rd time. And what an honor. Today's a little different. I'm sitting in a studio, my first time in a studio in the States. Done it overseas, haven't done it in the States. And I'm going live on Instagram. What the heck happened, man? The other day I was just in my room, me and my boy, we were doing an interview on Zoom, and here we are in a studio, my boy, Mike Gas Money. Welcome to the Justin and Gary podcast.
What's up, big dog? Here we are, we made it.
Yes, sir, we freaking made it, bro. Hey, it was just a little bit ago, we were doing some push-ups on the floor, man. Holy snap, bro.
That's the process right there. I remember literally doing push-ups when I was living with roommates. I remember doing push-ups in my little tiny room. I remember doing push-ups in my office. Yep. And I'm like, the bigger the stage, the same habits. The bigger the stage, the same habits. Your life could change, your views can change, but your habits never, they always remain the same. So it's like the push-ups are like, that's macros, push-ups, your wake-up times, that's your bread and butter right there. If you don't have a good foundation, what you got?
There was a home feeling when we were doing those push-ups because you and I know each other, and I know a lot of people listening to the show right now, you know, they're familiar that you and I have known each other for a few years. But I remember vividly in Miami, Wynwood, we were going out and we were about to go out one night and you were like, let's do some push-ups. And then it turned into dips and I was starting to sweat. And when I was here on that floor, I was like getting that same feeling like, we're about to do something. Absolutely. We're about to go somewhere and make something happen.
Absolutely. Well, that's the whole point, right? Is that we do push-ups so we can go somewhere. We take our frequency to a higher frequency. So like if we're not tapped fully in, let's say like, you know, I was a little tired right before rolling into the podcast, doing just a million things from the time I wake up all the way till now. I'm like, oh my gosh, like little tired. So let's hit some damn push-ups and get right into it and go somewhere. Going to a place. Like your imagination, your energy, all that really exists. You can't see it. It's like air, but you could take yourself to that point. And that's how I've actually elevated really quickly because I'm able to live in those areas pretty immediately. And you practice on it and you get better and better and better. Like if you just literally live your life however it goes, I mean, life's just going to be however it goes. But if you take your frequency like we just did, manufacture it and do this over days, months, and years, you'll end up having a better life. Like you'll feel better. Like you'll be at peace, but you'll actually be elevating in the world as well.
Something I admired about you when we met was every time things got hard or, you know, life was getting like struggles or, oh my gosh, I'm feeling tired. It was like, nah, that's when we got to do more work. That's when we got to go harder. And that was ironic to me because I've always grown up, and most people grow up with the understanding, like when you get a little tired, now you got to rest. But in your eyes, it was like, in order to get more energy, we got to go harder. Absolutely. And I want you to explain a little bit about how that has worked in your life, because it's something that I feel like a lot of people could get value from. It's almost like you're this machine, bro. And it's like you get tired, you get down, but you're like, let's go harder, let's do push-ups, let's work more, let's buckle down stronger, let's make the macros tighter. How did you adopt this philosophy?
Well, when you rest, you actually rust. So it feels good. It feels like maybe, you know, I've been going pretty hard. Let's get an extra hour of sleep. Let's take an off day. Let's go whatever you feel you think you need. And that's how you know you're immature, when you're just basing your next move off of your feelings. Feelings, you don't want to do that. You actually have to know what you're doing in life. A lot of people don't know how to move themselves through life, through the world, through spirituality and everything. So when you rest, you actually rust. Like comfort actually kills you. So like when times, and that's my whole my first third of my life was that.
Wow.
That's everybody's life. That's how we're taught. We are taught to kick your feet up, relax.
It's like wired in our culture, right? Like just chill all the time.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that when adversity strikes, once you start revealing, once you start understanding that is the time you want to tap in, that's who you actually really are, bro. That adversity reveals who you actually are. And when I heard that line, adversity reveals your true self, that's when I realized, wow, like I'm really, really not as savage and smart and mature as I thought I was. I'm actually this weak person. So every time a test came, it triggered me to be a better and more elevated person. And I was like, I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to lose this battle. But here's the deepest part. This is what changed my life right here. Whenever you're going through a dark time, that's when you're closer to God. You're far away from your friends. You're far away from your girlfriends. You're far away from Instagram and the world. But you're actually really, really close to God. And that's what helped me so much. So if you're ever, I don't know if you're wondering about me, but I draw a lot of strength from God and those dark times, because darkness is actually meant for your development. Darkness is meant for your maturity. Darkness is meant for you to grow and keep elevating. But a lot of people don't see that. They want to keep running because that's the way they were taught. That's how we were taught.
Feels good. I just want to win. I just want success. I just want the light. It's like you've only grown when you've suffered. That's crazy.
You can't have a revelation without a little bit of suffering. You can't have revelation without sacrifice, a little bit of hardship. Like comfort is where dreams and your vision and your purpose goes to die.
Yeah.
Seriously, like comfort, what has it ever done to you except take from you? It feels good right in the moment, but it will take and rob from you everything, bro. I'm telling you, purpose and sacrifice gives to you. It adds to your life. 100% it adds to your life.
It's ironic, when you bring up God and stuff, and regardless of people's faith, I roll more with Christianity and that understanding and worldview. But we got Muslim, Jewish, Hindu listeners. I've traveled a lot and met a lot of different people, but there's something about in every faith tradition, this idea of suffering and the suffering servant and the person that sacrifices and the person that gives everything, that ends up being the leader and that ends up being the model. And that the way of giving yourself away is actually the most fulfilling way to live. So it's nice when you speak about this, I'm like, man, like, because you and I are coaches, but really what we're trying to help people do is awaken them to a better way of living by connecting to God. And I wanted to ask you, how did you make that connection between this is not just me getting in shape, this is actually me like aligning myself with God?
Well, I first want to say, like, everything that we do, like whatever you do, it always has to, where is it pointing back to? Where are you pointing the people that you're leading and teaching and influencing? Are you pointing them back at Justin? Are you pointing them back at Mike? Or are you pointing them back right at God? And that's important. That's humility right there. You have to take yourself out of it. Whereas a lot of coaches who are worldly coaches, we're like more spiritual coaches at the end of the day. We might not talk about it. We might not be Bible thumping, but our presence alone will guide people exactly where they need to go to. And they will start, well, like you said, Muslim, Hindu, Christian. Like, I don't care what you are. But when you get around me, you will feel God's presence at some level, because I spend time with God every single day. Do you spend time with God every single day? That's where you gain your power and your strength and your influence. Straight up. Like, a lot of people don't have influence and power and strength. And I know I'm veering off from your question, but this is important to say, is that who are you spending time with? Where are you spending your time with? Why are you spending time with? And so every morning I wake up and I brush my teeth, I grab my coffee, I get dressed, and then I go right into spending time with God and creating that relationship, because that is where the power that I derive my power from.
How does it, for people that, because I coach people, work with different people, I'm sure you do too, and it's like, yeah, what you're saying sounds good, but practically, like, how does it look and how does it feel? Like, how do you connect to God when you say that?
This is not something that sounds good. It's actually derived from pain. The only reason why I do that is because I was in massive pain, and daily I come back to massive pain. So the only way that I've found answers, real answers, because you can't find them through the bottle, you can't find them through a person, you can't find your answers through food, anything like physical, you're not going to find your answers. You're going to find your answers from above. And every day, even myself gets slapped up by life, and I get reminded that I need God.
Yeah.
And I get reminded that, and I have to renew my mind.
Yeah.
I have to renew my heart. And every day I have to report above and submit and sacrifice. And I love it.
Yeah.
I love that, because a lot of people think, oh, why would I want to pray? Why would I? Because they're not seeing the full picture. Me and you have a good relationship. Why would I give you a call? I like it because you give me something in my life.
Yeah.
You provide something, a relationship. Yeah. It's not a transaction, it's a relationship. So when I call you, I get something from you, and you're giving, we're exchanging an energy exchange. We're exchanging value. And so when I spend time with God, it's the same thing. What do you think? Everybody thinks they know God. We know God about this much. I know God about this much. So every day I know him just a little bit more. And that gives me comfort. It gives me peace. And so every single day, 365 days of the year, early morning wake up times, sitting with God. And I'm like, wow, like this is just getting better and better and better. It doesn't matter if I grow to $100 million or go totally bankrupt. It doesn't matter. I want to be doing the same process at the top and at the bottom, just to show that I'm willing to keep what's important.
Yeah.
I love that. I like that test.
Yeah. It feels like it's something that, like, you found something that will never fail you. And I think that's what we want as humans is something that we want to feel whole. You know, we want to feel complete. And it sounds like you found that in conjunction and connection with God.
I don't think you can really know who you are fully until you start building a relationship with God.
Yeah.
I don't think you can, because you don't see, you may have been like a real estate agent, you may have been a doctor, an online coach, but those are all worldly things. Until you know God and you know your purpose and your gifts and what you are meant to do, that is found through the relationship, by God revealing that to you. Like, a lot of people are trying to create, like, let's create your 10.0 self. Let's put some muscle on you.
Yeah.
That's all good, but it's more about revealing.
Yeah.
And you reveal through sacrifice, like you have to hear that voice, your conscience. You have to, there's just a lot of different ways of how to reveal what you are meant to do in the world. That's important, bro. Like, a lot of people get drained because they're doing something out of alignment of what they were meant to do. They're good at it. They might be good doctors, good real estate agents, good online coaches, but they're not in alignment with what they're truly meant to do. How do you find that? With God. God's going to reveal that to you slowly. And if you spend time daily with God, you finding God, when you least expect it, he'll find you. He'll start coming into your life at the most random spots. And you got to be patient. You have to wait and be patient. And that only comes from not cracking. Not cracking like a little bitch, basically. For real, straight up. Christians are some of the weakest people, and they don't stand for shit anymore. And that's wrong. Seriously, we got to change that and become harder, become more savage, and let motherfuckers know straight up. It's not how. Think about the disciples, the apostles. Think about those people. Peter chopped off a motherfucker's ear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's savage.
Yeah.
Do you think that your pastor would do that, and the people in the crowd?
Yeah.
I don't think so. They can't even disregard the food. They can't even like put the drink away. They can't even resist that. How do you think they're going to resist any real danger? I don't know. I don't. I'm telling you, bro. I said a lot right there, but there's a lot of heat right there.
Yeah, I know. And it's a bigger conversation that I think a lot of people don't want to address and talk about. But I've seen it in terms of, like, there's a passivity, like a passive feeling that I've noticed, like, in Christian men and good people, very nice, and even I can be like this too. It's like we forgot that you can love God and be a bad motherfucker. you can love God and be ripped and hit the gym hard as hell and eat clean and not drink alcohol and actually be able to fuck somebody up if you need to and be savage, right? And I think so much of this got lost in the church, and that's a bigger conversation, but it's worth addressing, because does God want weak men, you know?
Absolutely.
Does God want weak men?
I'm not saying that what I just said was the right way to be, because I know Jesus is like, he's like, hey, Satan, get behind me. I understand that. But we're so far behind that, like, you're not even close. Do you understand what I'm saying? I actually want you to be more savage. I think we need to at least go to that spot and actually have that, and not, because I think it is wrong to do that, but you have to have that capability, bro. You have to go there.
Yeah. I like where this conversation is going, man. Every podcast I do, I just kind of, even when I'm solo or when I'm interviewing someone, I just like to play, like to dance, like to flow. I feel like there's like spirit present, and it just kind of moves conversations and lets nuggets of wisdom sort of pop out where they may. Something I want to ask you is what's been on your heart, like your mind lately the most? I feel like as men, we go through seasons of like, I'm learning this, I'm realizing this, I'm feeling this way lately. It could be positive, it could be negative, it could be transformative. What's something that's been on your heart lately, bro?
A lot. Lately, what's been on my mind and my heart a lot is surrendering and sacrifice. So in this world of, like, I've done well for myself. I've done good. I'm basically started from nothing, bootstrapped everything. Like, I was the first to go to a Division I, or to go to a 4-year school, get my master's, play Division I baseball, to start my own business, to create a 7-figure coaching business. That's like a lot of things. And I've elevated really fast. And like getting out of my comfort zone, overcoming fears and doubts. But what I've realized is that what is on your heart is super important. What is in your heart? It's okay to go for money. But when money starts penetrating and living inside your heart, and that's all you think about, that you're going the wrong way. I know you're chasing now. You need it.
The idols.
And at the end of the day, it's just like the Bible says. It's like, why worry about tomorrow? That doesn't mean don't prepare. Don't worry about tomorrow, because I got you. Does a bird, or what's the saying? Does a bird worry about where he's getting his shelter and his next meal from? That's the same thing, how we got to operate too. And so how do we do that? How does that look in daily operation, like practice? That's through surrendering and reporting above and just purifying your mind and your heart every day. So every day I give my business to God. Every day I give my needs and my wants to God. Any desires, I give them to God, because I'm like, I just want the relationship. I really do. Like I get on my knees and I get in a posture of surrendering, and I also build that there. And people don't really. So here's the thing with me, it kind of like makes me mad. They're like, yeah, you're a fitness coach. I'm like, dude, there's no way that you impact thousands of lives like I have if God isn't present. If you aren't at some level a disciple in some way, if you don't have influence, God has his fingerprints all over my business. People are transforming, and when they transform their kids. Their legacy starts changing as well. So it goes very, very far. So I know what I'm doing by being a leader. I'm creating other leaders underneath me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot of layers right there. But surrendering and sacrificing every single morning, anytime you feel that need of like, I need money, I need to pay this bill, you're making money, you're God. Oh, I got to get with this chick, I got to chasing more. That's very dangerous. You have to realize what's on your heart. Is God on your heart, or is he just on your heart on Sunday when you go every other weekend, or you pop on YouTube and then you're thinking about God, and then you jump in your car or wherever and you're bumping that just, music that's just infiltrating your mind and it's going the wrong way now.
Yeah. I was talking with you about this the other day, and I love that you pursue God. And I think everyone listening now on the show and even on the live, like, it's like, man, like this guy loves God, man. This guy wants to follow into God's plan, into God's will, gives his business.
You have to, bro.
And what I love about it is it's like how you do this, but yet running a 7-figure coaching business, driving a Lambo, jacked, ripped, killing it. It's hard to find this trifecta of a man these days. And I think what you're painting and describing for men and for the world as your career develops is how can you be a lover of God, rich, and have a body that's like Greek God, Because these three things are hard to form. You'll find like great Christian men or great men of God, but they're broke. You'll find super ripped guy, but they're not into God. You'll find somebody with money, but they're overweight. You know what I'm saying? So like to have all three, it's almost like the pinnacle of like good and healthy living. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you keep on your mind and like, I'm going to build this man? Or is it something that sort of just has developed as you've been pursuing God?
Your results tell a story, bro. Like you can judge a person by their fruits. I don't care what you say. I don't care if you're a pastor. I don't care if you're a bum. I don't care if you're on the street and you're a bum, whatever. Your results will tell a story. And I believe if you are spiritual, you will see the spiritual characteristics in a person that's spiritual. What is that? Lives change. I want to see your transformations. I want to, if you're a pastor, I expect your church to be filled. If you're a fitness coach, you better be in shape yourself and you better have transformations. If you have a business, you better be successful. So with all that said, I lived a lie for a long time, letting myself convince myself like, oh, well, I have a bit, because I've had a business for a long time.
Yeah.
Once I made my transformation, I got really honest. Yeah. You cannot grow if you're not going to be honest with yourself and look yourself straight in the mirror and be like, where are my inadequacies and where am I slipping? Yeah. I believe that if you're truly spiritual, if you're really like living how we should be, things will manifest themselves and work out. Like you cannot pray for 28 years and be saying the same damn prayer over and over. I'm like, why is it not working? Why isn't it not working? You're doing something wrong. Yeah. Your prayer isn't getting heard. Why? It's not God. It's you. Seriously. Like you've been going to the gym year after year after year. Why aren't you ripped? Bro, like you're doing something wrong. Yeah. The information's out there. Yeah. The application is totally off. Yeah. That's where I'm like, okay, I'm totally fine with my role. Like if God said, hey, you're meant to be just a 7-figure coach and you're meant to drive that red Lambo forever and you're meant to have this physique, nothing better, I'd be totally fine with it because that's my role. Yeah. That is my role. Yeah. But I'm not okay with knowing that I have more to my role and I'm doing it wrong. I'm going the other way. If I know that there's more to me, which most people, there's way more, they're just so off and lost. They're confused. Yeah. It's like a spirit of confusion. That's how the devil works. It's getting you to compromise your vision, compromise your vision, your ears, everything. Those are tools of the devil right there. So if God told me this is what you're meant to do, I would be like, cool, I'm gonna run this in to the fullest. Yeah, man. There's something you said there that I wanna dive in on. You said get honest. And this is something that I see in people. I love observing others, love observing people, love spending that inner time with myself and knowing more of who I am. And it's almost like I'm conditioned with this
this delusion. It's almost like we're born into this delusion where no, it's okay, like it's all right, like it's not that bad. It's like we want to patch things up and make them okay. And any sort of transformation that I've had in my life, whether it was in fitness or in anything, I had to get extremely honest, and it was painful and it hurt. But you mentioned like there's like this spirit of confusion, right? And there's a spirit of delusion. And I think some of it is coddled in comfort as well, right? Because you can just drink and really not have to think about things. You can do drugs, you can get lost in gambling and money and stuff. But there's this like rip the Band-Aid off honesty that is like hard to do for people, man. Why is it hard, man?
Why is it hard?
Because I know people know, you know? And it's like, why can't you just be honest?
Because when you remove all the safety nets and remove the facade, like I was telling, one of the guys that I've been hanging out with here in Miami, and he made a video just talking about like, you got to get in shape, bro.
Yeah.
And he was like, you could have money, you could have your business on point, you could have the cars and everything. And I was telling him like, when you get out of that car, like you want people to look at you, not the car, right? Like if you get out the Lambo and everybody's like, all right, move out of the way, sir. I'm trying to look at this beautiful car. You're distracting me. Yeah. But what I was trying to say was like, if you remove the car, you remove the business, you remove the tats, let's say, and I love tats, by the way. Yeah. I love them. But you remove all those things, what do you have? Your identity. That's your ego right there. Your ego protects your identity. And most people have an identity of an abandoned, weak, underly fathered person.
Wow.
That's true. That's real.
Yeah.
So like, I'm the same way though. I had enough. You don't need anything more than courage. You just need to ask God and really build that within from yourself every single day to have courage and be like, what is my real identity? God can't use me if I don't have a solid identity. You can't have your vision like revealed to you if you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Like if you're a carpenter and you're over there doing like analytical, like business stuff when you're supposed to be building houses and buildings and church. Yeah. If you don't know that you're a carpenter and you're off doing some wrong shit, you're no use to the world. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You have to know who you are. Yeah. And it can't be ego. This
is a great question. And I want to pose this for my podcast listeners, for anyone on the IG Live. You know, just there's so many different walks of life, right? Some coaches, some people are just curious. But like when it comes to getting honest, brother, like tell a man right now, how do I do this, Mike? Like how I know what you're saying, bro, it's touching my heart, but I wake up tomorrow morning. What do I do?
First thing that you got to do is drop all vices and look at yourself and literally just create a checklist and just look at yourself. Be like, am I in shape? No, hell no. I got to drop 38 pounds. All right, get in the gym. Do I know what to eat? Hire a coach. Look at your bank account. How much money do you got? What are the other ones? Look at your freaking attire. Like, are you dressed properly? Are you dressed for the job, you know? Literally just I look at everything, bro. Yeah. Like I just analyze myself in just enough way to keep myself honest and progressing. Yeah. For me, I knew I couldn't speak like this until I had some muscle. Yeah. That was for me. Yeah. I just had to. I had to get honest. I'm like, I'm not listening to any other guy that's just talk. I'm just not going to do it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm not going to listen to a guy who's drinking, who's like this. Yeah. He's like, has his cup. He's like, all right, so what you got to do is discipline, hit the gym 4 to 5 days a week. And he's like sipping his alcohol. I'm like, I am not listening to that guy. That's fake. Yeah. That's a fraud. Yeah. So like, you have to look at yourself and ask yourself this: what do you need to see in the world? That's what you need to be. You need to look at the world and be like, what do I need to see? What do I need to see in a man or a woman? Be that. That's it. That's the blueprint.
And this revelation, you think that it's like if we're honest enough, it's like wired in us. Like we will see that vision.
Those are your desires of your heart. God says, I will fulfill your desires of your heart, right? Does he not say that?
Yep.
Right? So what are your desires? What are you called? Like a lot of people have careers. That's what I was saying. You want to have a calling. What is everything calling you to be and do? You need to follow that. You're actually, I almost go as far as you're actually borderline sinning if you're not following your calling and you're doing a career and you're doing something out of alignment.
Yeah.
So like for you, like what is it? Getting ripped, making money? I think it's important to make money.
Yeah.
Money is the fuel and the resources to a great purpose. The more money I make, the more people I'm going to be able to reach and help.
Yeah.
The more events that I'm going to do, the more podcasts I'm going to be able to do, the more breakthrough events that I'll be able to host.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, sky's the limit. Like you literally just have thoughts that come in your mind and you could implement them because you have the fuel, you have the resources. But if you're broke and you don't have any money for a lot of different reasons why you don't have any money. Maybe just do from you're not sacrificing enough. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not going to have any money. And you're not going to really fulfill the destiny.
Yeah, that's good, bro. This is good stuff, man.
This is why like I'm literally a good coach, bro, because I keep the infrastructure important. I don't need to I keep what's important. Like these are big pillars, bro. And I start breaking them down. Like if you were a client of mine, I would start, you wouldn't see it. I wouldn't be able to tell you because you wouldn't really understand. Like you would understand, but like let's say you're a client. I break it down for them and they don't know they're walking into these pillars. I'm building their foundation up. I'm creating that concrete, the rebar. And then that's the most important part. And then what they build after that, I mean, that's up to them. That's their calling. You know, that's where they're taking it. Like I need you strong and I need the next man strong. But how do we get there? That's where I come in. You know what I'm saying?
Ah, so good, man. Tell us about your coaching business right now, like how it looks, how it's grown. Because when we met, probably had like 30 clients, you know. It's grown since then. It almost seems like you have like generals and like different layers to the guys you coach. You know, when I chill with you in Napa, 2 times, went to your gym, St. Fit, and you got some people coming in there. We see the videos on Instagram. How has that developed, you know, I'll say the past year especially?
I always just tell everybody, my first client was me. I changed and transformed my life. So I dropped vices. I got super honest with myself. I started talking and building that relationship with God. All that stems from this. So the fact that I had 8 clients when I met you, or 30 clients, whatever you said, now I have hundreds of clients. I've worked with thousands of people. By now I have like a whole division of people. It's not a platoon. It's not a squad. It's a straight like, we're aiming to build a nation. Seriously, like a real like little nation of like people who love God, who are savage, who are capable, who are willing, who have wisdom, who have the right things on their heart. Build that right there. That's what the world needs. And that only works if I keep working on myself. And every day I show up for myself. I'm a good coach because I have a lot of problems. Like I literally like have that flesh in my side too. You know, but that's where people would be like, oh, I hate myself. I'm gonna go kill myself. Life is hard. It doesn't work out for me. I'm like, that is your promotion right there. It's not a problem. That's what's gonna make you great. I tap into that. I'm very, very good at tapping into that. And then so when I talk to a client who's going through problems too, I can put my body in their shoes. You know what I'm saying? I can put my feet in their shoes. I could tap into what they're feeling because I was just feeling that a day or 2 ago. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not scared to say that. Like no one wants you to be perfect. Like that's not the goal here. It's just course correction all the time. Course correcting, listening to what God wants you to do. Like, you know,
I want to go more into like, you know, a popular word like in the, I guess, life coaching industry or personal development industry is mindset, right? And mindset. it's like such a buzzword now, you know, people use. Tell me, I want to dive more into like your mindset. Like I know that if I played your mind, like the voice in your head out loud, you know, there's people where the voice would be hating on themselves, right? Just super negative, super dark, like just thinking dark shit.
I get like that too.
Yeah. And so do I, big time. And I've been very open with that on my podcast too. My listeners know. But when it comes to mindset, these thoughts, do you, and I want you to go into like your own thoughts, like, are you telling yourself when you say auto-suggestion, auto-correction, that you're like having a thought come in your mind and then you're like, no, I rebuke that. I don't receive it. I'm this. Or are you like noticing like a thought developing a negative imagination and you're like, fuck that, let's do push-ups. You know what I mean? Like how does it work for you in Mike's mind?
Yeah. So a lot of coaches have come out, personal development, like mindset coaches, you know, fitness coaches.
Yeah.
And they're like mindset training.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, mindset's huge. What is it though? Can you like break it down? For me, I've broken it down because I've gotten coaching from mentors that really have laid it out for me, and my own coaching and God, like life, like all together. I could sit there and create a book that says how to become and build a better mindset.
Yeah.
So like you're talking on like, so you're talking on thoughts.
Yeah.
Like you have to realize not every thought is your thought. So you have to become a master at accepting or rejecting thoughts. So when a negative thought comes in your mind, an evil thought, a doubtful thought, a shameful thought, a guilty thought, you got to be able to have the wherewithal, the awareness. That's another part of mindset, to stiff arm it, to reject it quick, just like a bully, but people don't. So when that negative thought comes in, they let it linger for too long.
Yeah.
It's really not that bad. Having one negative thought's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
Letting it stay there for months and days and months, that'll ruin your life.
Yeah.
That'll kill you.
That's good.
And so that's just accepting and rejecting is huge. So you accept the empowering ones. And so affirmations are encouraging. Negative thoughts, negative gossip, people talking down to you, listening to those negative thoughts, those are dangerous. Confusion, things like that. I mean, awareness, you have to like build the awareness. You got to build your awareness. It's a skill set.
Yeah, that is a skill set.
It's like we were hanging out with, it was just all us guys, and we're hanging out with Wes. And where there was guys standing in the sidewalk.
Wes is a coach that me and Mike shared for, we've been sharing for like the past 4 years, I'd say. And he's a really, you know, a great figure and mentor to us. Yeah.
Right. So he was just like, hey guys, get out of the sidewalk. Like that's a walkway. That's lack of awareness. You're not aware to what you're doing. You're not aware to the fact that like you keep making the same mistakes over and over. You keep drinking. You keep going to that toxic relationship. It's a lack of awareness. You don't realize that you're having these negative thoughts over and over and over. That's one component of mindset, but there's so many other ones too. There's like your belief system. What do you believe about Justin? Your beliefs are going to actually create your future. Whatever you believe is going to dictate your future. A lot of people have limiting beliefs. They'll be like, yeah, I want money, but you know, I think I'll be cool with like 165,000 a year. And I'm like, you could make that a month. You could totally shatter that limiting belief. Or a limiting belief would be like, yeah, I totally respect what you're doing, but I'm more of a behind the scenes kind of guy. I'm not in the front of the camera type of guy. I'm not going to do what you're doing. I'm like, you want to know what that is? That's lack of self-worth. That's lack of self-esteem. You actually want to be in front of the camera, but it's a personal development issue that you have to tackle. These are insecurities that are meant for you to grow. Once I started seeing that, and being like, dang, anything that I'm scared of, anything that I fear, I've made that part of my belief system that I have to attack that and go for it. because that's part of my story. And my story is going to help heal somebody, the next person. I am the messenger for that. So I didn't like speaking on camera. I felt that fear, that hesitation. I've had instances where I've messed up. Like I never wanted to go and be that person.
Yeah.
And so there's just literally so much to mindset though.
Yeah.
Like another one would be your self-identity and your standards. Your standards are going to keep your results consistent. The fact that somebody like hits a record month like in sales, and then the next month they dip down, and then the next month they go back up and then dip back down again, that's a result of lack of standards. You don't have standards with your macros. You keep slipping on them. You keep drinking, hit or miss.
Yeah.
It's a standard issue. And you're never going to be able to, it's like discipline. They kind of go together. You have to maintain that discipline for your standard, which creates all the other ones.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, this is
that's deep,
good,
bro.
man.
Like coaches
good.
don't know this shit.
Yeah, no,
they don't know how to break that down.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, why don't you eat these foods?
Don't be a bitch.
Yeah.
That's your mindset. That's not mindset training.
Yeah.
That's being like a borderline bully. After you say that one time, it might work for one situation to be like, don't be a bitch, bro. Like hit that weight or like get up. But like what else? There has to be more.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have like low self-esteem or self-worth issues. Those are big deals, bro. You don't get what you want in life. You get what you feel you deserve.
Yeah.
So like if you have lack of self-worth, you're never going to go for that 10 out of 10 girl. You're never going to go for that multi-7-figure business. You're never going to be able to drive a Lambo because deep down energetically, you don't feel you deserve it because you haven't worked to deserve and create that person.
Yeah.
That's straight up real right there.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Those are those little nuggets that stay, bro. That stay. Something that I heard that you told me one time actually was it's not about what, it's about who, right? And this is like an identity shift, right? So it's not about like you got to name like what I want to go achieve, what I want to go have, but it's not about getting it. It's about who do I need to be to get it. Right.
Yeah.
And this is a mindset shift for a lot of people, and it flows along with faith too. And that's what I love about our work is that it really does pertain to a lot of spiritual things. It's not about attaining something. It's about who do I need to be internally to attain it. Right. So tell me, like, how did you come to that? Like, is that something like a truth that you're just like, wow, it's who I need to be. It's not what I need to do. Like, when did that happen, and how has that grown on you?
Well, you have to think about it this way. It's like wherever you go, there you are. That line right there, I'm like, I don't care how many beach houses you have, how much money you make, how many chicks you have, you still have you.
Yeah.
Have you created a person where you're like, I love me. I like sitting right here. That is my entire goal, bro. Like, as long as I'm comfortable with who I am, I'm proud of who I am, I love who I am. That's why a lot of people have shame and guilt. How you beat shame and guilt is through love. Love redeems. You have to build love. It's a decision. Love is a verb. Love is a decision. You have to choose to love yourself every day. You have to choose it. So like when you're sitting there, let's remove all the money. Let's remove everything. Let's get it all out of the way. Even your family, even your kids, even your house, all that shit. Move it out. What you got? What do you got? Do you love you? Do you really, can you really find peace there? And for me, I know I have God too. So it's like, I'm never lonely. Like I always have God there, and I love who I've created. So like I could be broke and walk in the streets and I'm like, I'm a dope motherfucker. I still get to be me. You get to be you. I get to be me. Who's winning? For real. It's like, that's dope. Goals aren't for getting, they're for growing. So like if you pick a big goal, a lofty goal, that's good. Be delusional. Don't be realistic. That's how you have to ask yourself, okay, I have a big goal. Who do I need to become to achieve that goal? It's not like the mountain. It's like who you have to create to climb that mountain, to get to the top. And then at the end of the day, you're like, yeah, I'm at the top of the mountain. And you're like, but look at this guy. Like, he's like unshakable. He's unbeatable. He's got a mindset. He's just, he's savage. He's dope. But for me, I throw the God component in there too. So it throws a whole nother wrinkle in there where you're like, oh, that man's deep. He's not just he's not a worldly man. He's like a hybrid.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
He's a hybrid.
Yeah, and that's what I was referring to about this, like this new 21st century archetype of what it means to be a man of God, right? He's a gangsta ass motherfucker.
I would just go back to the Bible. I'm like, how are they? They probably had tattoos, rough and tough. You know what I mean? I don't have any tattoos, but I'm just saying, like, I think they're probably long hair, you know, just rough.
Just savage. It's just they were willing to die, you know? They weren't scared. They were all murdered, bro.
That's savage. Well, are you willing to die for your message?
Exactly. Exactly.
Are you?
That's a good question, brother.
I'm not asking, but I am.
No, but I know you are.
Are you?
I know you are.
I'm like, but when I get on my hands and knees, I really do. I get in that position and I'm like, I'm going to die for this shit.
Yeah.
For real. Like when I get under that squat bar, I'm
there
like,
it
I'm
is,
going to die under this motherfucker.
There it is.
Straight up.
Yeah.
No, for real.
Yeah, there it is.
I really think that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to kill my ego and I'm going to kill my carnal self.
There it is.
And I'm going to fucking go.
There it is.
What's up?
There it is.
Who's going to take it there?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And that's why I'm able to help a lot of people, because I'm willing to go where other people won't.
Yeah.
There's
this line in the scriptures that Jesus is like, if you're trying to save your life, you're going to lose it. But if you lose your life, if you die to self, if you give it up, you find it. And I think that's what you're referring to, the death of ego.
Kill that motherfucker. A lot of people don't want to get on camera because they have big egos, bro. And they don't want to look stupid or sound stupid. That was something that I had to remove if I wanted to be a massive influence in the world. You have to be able to remove yourself and just totally let the message that comes from above and just release to the world flow right through you. As soon as you get your ego in the way, that's when you fucked it all up.
There's something that you said, I think we got about 13 minutes or so left on our show here, but there's something that you said earlier, because we've been talking about a lot of different things with the mindset and growth and all these things, but you said the word love, and I want to go there. This idea of self-love. And talking about God so much, it's only appropriate that we interlink these, because scripture says that God is love, right? And so it's almost like when I love myself, it's almost like a love offering to God, right? Tell me, what does self-love mean to you?
I think it's, like I said, self-love. I think love is a decision. It's not a feeling. It's not something like if you were sitting there and you're 400 pounds, or you're even like 235 and you're at like 5'8", let's say you're 5'8", and you're like 227. I'm like, dude, you don't love yourself. There's no way you love yourself.
Wow.
Like, you look at your life and you could ask and you could find out how much you love yourself.
Yeah.
For reals.
Yeah.
And it's a big deal.
That's cool. That takes love to a different level, because again, going to that cultural analogy, it's like it's always like a feel good feeling, and you're like, nah, like love is like honesty. You know, love is like really looking at yourself hard. That's real love. Whereas culture is like, no, love is like gooey and it's like always nice.
I think there's a layer, there's a combination. So you have to create the habits that represent love. So like when you wake up early, I think that's an act of self-love. When you take care of yourself, you shower, you eat properly, you work out, that's an act of self-love. But then there's also this component of seeing yourself how God sees you. Seeing yourself in the eyes of God. Like, who does God say you are?
Yeah.
That's a reminder that, hey, remember, like, you aren't defined by that middle school nickname that somebody said to you and that just you have that PTSD. That's a lie. That's you got to let that go.
Yeah.
So like there is that component of of a reminder. You know, you have to remind yourself every single day, and that's where affirmations come in to play.
Yeah.
I am. Those are the two strongest words ever written. One could say that is God's name.
Yeah.
I am is God's name.
This is what he told Moses. Yeah.
Every time you say I am, you're declaring that.
Yeah.
You're saying. So if you say I'm an idiot, don't say that, bro. Like I'm a broke ass. I'm a drunk. You know, you're putting power. Those words never go away.
Yeah.
They're catching somewhere.
Ooh.
They're reverberating
cool.
through the universe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a sound. It's a feeling. So like
it.
when you wake up throughout your day, I have tools on my team that I teach. Throughout the day, I'll have moments where I say, I am powerful. I'm a leader. I'm savage. I'm a warrior. Just whatever your really like, whatever your insecurities are, you say the opposite of it. I love myself. I'm at peace with myself.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
and you're
a
not
leader.
lying. Like you really feel it. Because you know how we can say like, I'm beautiful, I'm lovely. And it's like, you don't really
Well, you have to back it up
You're
with
not
the
putting
actions.
the work in, you know?
That's why I said you have to back it up with the actions.
Yeah.
Or else it's just a platitude. It's just a lie.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, your beliefs about yourself are going to dictate your results in the world. So whatever you believe, that's the truth.
Yeah. My brother.
Keep it going, dog. We got 9 minutes.
It is.
Don't be shook, dog. We got fuck that. We got to keep it going, dog. Stay focused.
It's amazing, dude. How's everybody doing over there on the IG live? Just want to show you guys love. You know, just want to say what's up to everybody, man. I wish I could type back, but hope y'all enjoying this. I'm out here, Gas Money, the Move Miami, representing the homie right here from California in Miami. Pulled up, drove his Lambo out here.
No. I didn't drive
He
it.
shipped the Lambo out here. Yeah. And
drove it. I slept in that thing. Drove it all the way out here. It's crazy.
And we've been driving in the Lambo in Miami, and
it's not the Lambo that's dope. It's where I came from.
Yeah.
From humble beginnings to driving a work truck to driving a Toyota Camry, doing construction for my whole life, basically, to getting to building a 7-figure business, driving a Lambo. Fuck the Lambo. It's who I had to create to get the Lambo.
Yeah.
It's what the Lambo represents.
Exactly.
Because that ain't the only one,
Lambo,
you know?
Right? You became the Lambo before you had the Lambo.
Exactly.
Like, I'm worth that much.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm one of the hottest motherfuckers out here.
Think about the mindset that you had to create to get there.
Yeah.
For me, here, let's bring it back to God real quick. Let's bring it back to God. The only way that Jesus was able to get through to people was through miracles. When he was sitting on you know, preaching and everything, everyone's like, that's good. Yeah, good talk. Like good teacher. Like that's a good little sermon. That's not what shook him. What shook him was the miracle.
Yeah.
And so my little miracle for me is a Lambo. His results. Your results are what impact people. So if you just talk, and you ain't got no results, you're talking about discipline and you're fat and overweight. You're talking about money and what you could do and yada, yada, and you ain't got no money. Ain't nobody going to listen to you, bro.
Yeah.
You need to be shocking with your results.
Yeah.
That's what Jesus was doing. He's like walking on water. Like, you know, Peter pulls up the net and all this fish come out. It's just like, I'm gonna listen to you now. Well, I'm gonna listen to you now. Like, what was that you said?
Yeah. Well, it was. I mean, remember, this is 2,000 years ago. So these are first century miracles, right? But what's a 21st century miracle, right? And that could be, you know, you could be onto something. What is the world value? Back then it was fish or healing the blind. And now it's like, oh, a fucking Lambo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. From it's who has the Lambo. Like if you know, Elon Musk is like, look at my Lambo. They're gonna be like, what? It's who has it. It's like,
and what he had to do to
this
get
prostitute turns to loving God. It's the story. And that's what I want everybody to realize. It's that the only thing that's gonna separate you and in the world is your story. That's what makes you one of one. That's what makes you authentic. That's the power. And so you know, the story, you have to double down on that. But if you're scared and you have all these fears and you play into that, you're never going to create your real story. It's not gonna hit.
Yeah.
It's not gonna hit people.
Yep. My brother, my boy did tell me that we're through our time. So I just want to close this show, of course, by thanking you, but also, just one final thought, like a short nugget, something for somebody. I always like to think about this. That's like, man, this guy's so inspiring. He's so good. He's done all this. I really feel his words, but like, I fucking couldn't do that. And I really want to. Give that man, give that woman, like, just something that they could take away from this podcast, man.
So everything that I'm saying today, I did not like have all these sayings and all this wisdom and results. I was 165 pounds, a drunk mess, you know, basically. And I kept working. I didn't want to change. I didn't think I was going to change thousands of lives and like do all this. I just started with dropping vices. Vices block your vision. And the vision and the purpose and your identity, your vision, your purpose, and your identity are the three main things that you should really attach to. But the vices will block all those things and it'll steal it. That's why a 400-pound person could sit there and be like, there's nothing wrong. It's because he drowned out that voice, his conscience. And that's the trick and tool of the devil, is to compromise your conscience, that voice. As soon as that voice is gone, that ethical line that you thought you had, morality lines, spiritual lines, you don't have them anymore. You don't have any real like sturdy things. That's why you feel empty. So, but at the base root of it, you have to drop vices. Vices block God's voice.
Brother, I couldn't thank you enough, man. Today has been amazing, and I hope that it's been amazing for you too, man.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Got it.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it.